was yesterday. Just tell yourself that I did something wrong for the 100th time and the last time.
It's Sunday, February 1st, and you've tuned into the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. Right now, you're listening to WeP3 Radio, proudly produced in partnership with Breeze Across America Radio. Together, we share a mission: remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and teach the future generations the value of freedom. Freedom, bought, paid for, and secured by the brave men and women who have worn our nation's and community uniforms. Stay tuned for We Got Your 6 at 6. Now playing on WeP3 Radio, Jack Yoder, Bleed.
I don't have to make excuses for the messes that you made, or deal with some bill that you never meant to pay. Got a giant stack of boxes of your leftover things, just another pile of shit that you can't take.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it!
Trucker.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We are We the People, the People's Patriot Project.
For a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission, you have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it!
Trucker.
Good evening, Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. Mark, Frank, and I, we're here every week to share our show with you. We call it We Got Your 6 at 6. And every week we bring a guest, an artist, and then we share sometimes good, sometimes not so good things happening in our world, happening in our lives, and happening around us. This week, we're going to host some of the most amazing discussions with our guests. John Kelly from Beyond the Job and Jeremy Wayne McKern is here to share his story and his music. We need to mention those who support us day in, day out, week in, week out. We have got the Godfather, Mr. Derek Iozio with Catch-22 Peer Mentor Group. And that comes along with many support groups and people and contacts in case you would need them or in case you just want to be part of their groups. Sometimes it's just a cup of joe in the morning to catch up and see what's going on in the world. We also have Bobby and Peggy Kretzinger down there in Texas with Operation Texas Strong. They take in your used RVs that you can donate, and they take homeless veterans off the streets and put them into these RVs, and they created a campground. It's amazing. It's amazing. So check out Operation Texas Strong. Bobby and Peggy Kretzinger down there in Weatherford, Texas, taking care of business all the time. Hey, our sponsors, our guests, our listeners, we can't thank you enough. Every week, every day, year after year. Honestly, thank you. Before we do dive into today's show, let's take a moment to just join us for the amazing version of the Star Spangled Banner with Dave Bray, USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take the time to stand if you are capable of standing. Out of honor and respect, please remove your covers and prepare yourself how you need to show your greatest gratitude for the amazing freedoms and liberties we have achieved under one of the most powerful symbols in the world. Please cast your attention as we respect our old glory.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
It is time for We Got Your 6 at 6. It is Sunday, February 1st, and we are here for the show.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
We need more of that, man. We need more of that energy. You know, a little piece that grabbed me again in the intro, it talks about what a patriot is. And, you know, we briefed everyone before the show and we said, hey, what are some things we don't talk about? The American flag is not a political position, people. I'm going to tell you that right now. That flag has stood and has stood the test of time under all kinds of scrutiny, under all kinds of things. And without that flag, we don't have a country. And the patriots that stand up to defend that flag. And that's and I'll say for the most part, our veterans, our first responders, the families that are the glue that hold those men and women together, and just in general, the people that are, and there might be a time where that metal gets tested. And that's not left or right, folks. That's just a reality. And if you're not looking at the big picture, then I don't know how to fix that part. We're not going to get into a long deliberation about that, but we're here for We Got Your 6 at 6. It's about these two guys tonight. We'll get to them real quick, but we're going to put everyone to work real quick. It's a constant conversation. This group, this broadcast, this thing is all about doing something. It's about getting off the couch. It's about being involved. And we have our call to action. This is our Check 6 part of the show, and we're going to listen to our new spokesperson, Mr. Bastian.
At the People's Patriot Project, our mission is more than just words. It's a call to action. Each of us bears the vital responsibility to check your 6. We begin this important journey with a moment of self-assessment. Ask yourself, are you truly mission ready? If the answer is no, don't wait in silence. Reach out. Use your skills. Lean into your resources and connect with your network. Whether you turn to a trusted friend, a supportive organization, or dial 988, remember, you must be battle ready to stand strong for the mission ahead. Once you feel equipped, take that next step. Reach out to 6 people in your circle. Check in on them. No agenda, no judgment, just genuine connection. This is how we build strength, shield one another, and serve our communities with pride. Together, we reaffirm our commitment. We got this. Patriot Pride.
That is Bastian telling you to check your 6 right now. Grab your device, check in with 6 people, say, hey, just thinking about you, want to know how you're doing. If I could have any kind of coinage, it could be a penny, we would be doing well if the conversation is, I wish I would have reached out. Or why didn't they reach out? Or why didn't I say, I love you one more time? You have the chance, folks. Plant the seed, get her done. We'd love it if you did it every single day. Find a time in your day. It takes roughly 30 seconds, literally, to type it up, copy it, 6 people in your entire contact list. It doesn't have to be about the veteran and first responder. That's our mission first. It could be anyone in your contact list. We are hearing that it is a mental health issue across our country, across the world. Reach out to your brothers and sisters. Then you don't have to have the excuse, I wish I'd have reached out one more time. Get her done. Well, I see head nodding. Everyone at least is partially in agreement. And we might have the right crew on board. We got Mr. John Kelly with us today. Good to see you, Mr. Kelly. you have a little bit more, or no, let me rephrase that. You have a little bit less hair than what I saw in the promotional package. Well, not so much, I guess. But
more freshly shaved.
Fair enough. And then we've got the amazing Jeremy Wayne McKern. Jeremy Daniels is in the house. Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your mission. Don't tell us about your mission. Tell us who you are. Tell us about your service. We serve veterans and first responders. You fit one of those niches. And I wish we would get more first responders on here, to be honest with you. Let it roll, brother.
We will. Well, my name's John Kelly, and I'm a father of 3, grandfather of 2, and started as a first responder in 2007. I was 28 years old, and at the time I was just working as a personal trainer. A buddy of mine told me about firefighting, and I had never thought about it, but then he told me the schedule was 9 days a month, and I thought, this sounds like the greatest job in the world. So I applied, jumped through all the hoops, and I got hired. And when we got hired, nobody ever told me what toll the job would take on us through the sleep deprivation, the trauma, the toxic chemicals. We were pretty much taught how to run calls, but not taught how to be first responders. So me and my infinite wisdom, I also wanted to become an MMA champion at the time. UFC was picking up Pride Fighting Championships, and I was at the stage of my life where I felt very strong and very capable. So I started training MMA on my off days. And for the first 4 years, it worked pretty well. I'd get off a shift. I'd go train a couple times a day, take care of the kids, work a couple hours in the afternoon, and wash, rinse, and repeat. But after years of running calls, years of fights, also doing the normal things most of us do at 28 years old, drinking, hanging out, and just, having a good time, I began to notice some symptoms. And at first, it really wasn't much. It was an irregular heartbeat here, inability to sleep there, a little bit more dependence on caffeine and alcohol. And then I began to disconnect from my family. And over the final 3 years, I was only a first responder for a little over 7 years. Over the final 3 years of my fight career and first responder career, everything went downhill. And I left the job thinking that was going to help me. But now I just had no income, and I still had all the same PTSD issues, all the same anxieties, depressions, suicidal thoughts. And it got to the point to where I had to seek professional help. And the therapy wasn't really working because I couldn't out-talk my nervous system being totally dysregulated and my hormones being totally in the dumps. So I started looking into holistic medicine, and I took some blood tests, some saliva tests, and did really a deep dive on where I was at the time. And it showed me how bad it had gotten. I had what was called stage 3 adrenal fatigue. So, when you're diabetic, your pancreas stops producing insulin because you've eaten carbohydrates for too long, your cells are too resistant, and your pancreas just gives up. Well, the same thing can happen to your adrenal glands when it comes to your sex hormones and your adrenaline. So when you're pumping out adrenaline all day, every day, and you're not giving your body the recovery it needs, eventually it'll get exhausted. And once that goes, your sleep goes, your sex drive goes, your connection with other people goes, your drive to be who you are goes. And that's why you see so much mental illness in first responders, because they burn themselves into the ground and there's no quick fix. You just can't shut it off. You have to basically reverse and mitigate any future damage through behavioral modifications, through supplement protocols, and you have to really rewire your mind and change your life. So I learned that the hard way over a very long period of, how we do. We take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. We learn a little bit, we get a little crazy, we go back to our old ways, and we end up suffering again. But after about 10 years, I finally figured it out. And I thought I was a one-off case. I really didn't talk to too many of my firefighter buddies anymore after that, because I felt like the fire service was something that I didn't have fond memories of. But then a couple people reached out to me and they started asking me, like, what did I do after I left? How did I get so healthy? What's going on in my life? And I realized that this was a lot bigger problem than just myself. So I started working with people, and little by little, I developed a whole methodology that basically starts at the root, because, typical first responder wellness is going to be exercise, right? Push through. You guys don't be a pussy. Never get tired. Rest is for the weak. And we've done that. I'm sure all of us here have done that at some point, and we know where that takes us. We get injuries, we get burnt out, we get hormonal issues. So basically, I learned a roadmap that I could help other first responders, mitigate and reverse that damage. So that's what I've been doing the last about 10 months full time. I closed my gym. I had a gym for 12 years. I closed it, and I decided to go full time into helping first responders, because I realized there's such a huge need, and there's really not a lot of tools out there that are looking at things from the root viewpoint. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
It's impacttive. It's real. I don't know how we get through that, because and I break all the cardinal rules myself. I mean, I've how you doing? How are things? I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, I'm achy. I'm hurty. I struggle. I'm all those things. But you know what? I'm under the influence or belief that, you know what? There's someone that's got it worse off than me. I'm not dead yet. And it just seems like something I can pump through.
Those are all true to a point, right? I mean, you can definitely push through until you get to a point where you hit rock bottom. And then it's a lot harder to reverse the momentum and then start pushing the needle in the other direction. Possible. But I think what we need to start looking at in terms of that is the evidence, right? We need to look at the evidence, the results that we've seen. Over the years, we've had that attitude. And just this week in my old department, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, 2 cancer deaths and 1 suicide. And that's just 1 week in one department, not even January over yet. And they've already had 3 deaths. And a lot of that goes back to education, right? First of all, we have to educate guys coming in. We have to educate them throughout the process, and we have to educate them afterwards, because a lot of the problems come in retirement, when you lose the brotherhood, when you're no longer around the guys anymore that give you the energy and the companionship that you can't replicate anywhere else. When you think about a soldier coming back from battle, that soldier's been at the highest high of the fight or flight nervous system with his brothers. You come back down and you expect to integrate into normal society again. And you can't just shut that off. There has to be a ramp down process involved for our soldiers. There has to be a ramp down process for our first responders. And just like we have SOPs when it comes to how do you attack a house fire? How do you run a heart attack? How do you run an accident? We need SOPs on coming off shift. We need SOPs on how to manage your blood work, your hormones, and your sleep. And even if guys don't follow it, we need to equip them with those things, because then it's going to give them clear-cut decisions that make it easier for them. Because what the problem with us is that we allow our ego to run the show. If you're going to put your pack on while you're working out, I'm going to put my pack on. You're going to run 5 miles, I'm going to run 5 miles. It doesn't matter how many calls you had after midnight, or you got a newborn at home. We're not talking about that. We are just there to suffer together, and we can do that. And honestly, it's important to have that pushing through, that shutting down your emotions on scene. That saves your life. That keeps people alive. But off scene, it destroys your marriage. It destroys your health. So really, things like this, where you have podcasts or radio shows where you bring on people and you discuss current issues that we're seeing and how we can begin to, stem the tide and change direction slowly in the beginning, because we know all these things take time. But little by little, I'm starting to see more and more people understand the grander, 30,000 foot viewpoint, that it's not worth sacrificing yourself for somebody else's agenda or for a job that, and this is nothing against the job, it will replace you the minute you retire. You filling a uniform, right? So your duty on shift is to fill that uniform to your best of your abilities. But as soon as that uniform comes off, you're no longer a firefighter. You're no longer a police officer. You're no longer a nurse. You're a dad. You're a son. You're a husband. You're a wife. You're a mother. And that is your real job. So by teaching people the tools, the principles, and the strategies that will allow them to understand the process and then actively switch and know which identity to be in, which time, and how to make those switches is really how we're going to move the needle. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's definitely trending in the right direction.
Agreed. And again, you're right. Having the constant conversation. I mean, Bastian says zero judgment, zero conversation, zero. And that's tough because we're in the space a lot, and we receive the calls for the People's Patriot Project, and we do get some of those frequent flyers. We do get the ones that every little scratch and ache and this and that. And then again, it has to be zero judgment, folks. It has to be, all right, what is the underlying issue if it's not, again? And so have the conversations, be close. Mr. Kelly, we're excited to have you here. Thank you for being here. It was weird when I reached out to you guys because there's not a lot of personal information on the page. And I just said, hey, we'd like to have you guys come on the show. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't know if I was talking to a guy or a girl or anyone. And I was just like, okay, more conversation, please, and keep it going. But I'm excited about it. And the conversations just need to be real. And you got to be able to listen. You got to be able to put it out there. And you got to be willing to work. And I'm sorry, brothers and sisters, everyone that's, pulled the hose or, regardless of what mission you're in as a first responder or as a veteran, you're in this together. And if you didn't get in this to be together, then you might have got it in the wrong place too. If you got into a place to hide, it's not how it works. And so excited to have the conversation, John. We're going to continue here. I want to bring Jeremy into the conversation. He is. So, do you know Jack Yoder by chance? He's from your part of the world.
Are you talking to me? Do I know
Yeah.
Jack Yoder?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. He's up there. I think he's in the Washington area. I'll have to do a little bit more research. It's been a minute since we had Jack on, but that's the guy that we introed with the radio station tonight.
Oh, nice.
I just thought I'd say, hey, did you hear? You are close relationship with some of the other musicians that we've had on our show. And I'm not even, where have you been, brother? We just found you. We've been doing this. We're on episode 290.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I don't know how much you want me to go into, but I grew up, I pretty much grew up here in the Northwest. I was a Navy brat, and I joined the Navy back in 1999. I spent a year in college and then joined the Navy. I always wanted to do that because my dad served and my grandfather served in World War II. My dad served in Vietnam. And so I joined, and I ended up stationed in San Diego. Of course, 9/11 happened, and I was on board ship, and we got underway that morning. And we ended up providing air support up and down the coast up here between Southern California and Washington State. And then we ended up doing a 9.5-month deployment over to the Gulf in support of that. I also did 2 other deployments for counter-drug operations, which you've seen some of that going on the news. But I was doing that back in the early 2000s. And then essentially the way I got into all this was COVID happened. And I was, at the time, I got off of active duty back in 2008, 2009. So I spent the first 10 years of my career on active duty. And then I immediately went over to the reserves because I didn't want to lose my time and I wanted to get that retirement. Plus, I'm really built for service. It's just kind of, it's a calling. And so when I went to the reserves, I joined Navy Cargo Handling Battalion, which is a commission unit. And when we deploy as a group. But that went really well. But I was married and divorced 3 times. I had tons of issues all throughout my service with a lot of the stuff that John's talking about as far as getting burnt out, just overworked and not knowing how to come down or how to function in society outside of the military. In 2019, I had been working with the VA, and the VA diagnosed me 70% for PTSD. And I started doing therapy. And part of my therapy was a lot of talk therapy, followed up with some journaling. And so when COVID happened, I got laid off from work, and I had a guitar hanging on the wall that I had been thinking about learning to play, because I had briefly had a stint at 22 years old. I played guitar with a few friends for a few months. I learned 3 chords, I think. And then I put the guitar up. I actually had a guitar stolen, and I never picked it up again until 2021. And 2021, I got laid off. I had nothing going on. Everything was shut down. We were forced to wear masks everywhere we went. And there's a local bar here in Salem, Oregon called the Honky Tonk Bar and Grill. And I had just picked up the guitar, starting to learn. And I went down there, and they had a tent set up in their back. And they were having karaoke there, and you had to put the little covers on the mic, and you had to wear your mask up there. But it was just something to try to take my mind off all the craziness that was going on in the world. And basically, to fast forward this, my journaling, it occurred to me as I started writing songs that journaling for me and getting all this stuff out of my head was only really one step away from writing songs. So I started writing songs. And what I realized was me focused on playing guitar and focusing there, and then focused on writing these songs and journaling, was so therapeutic for me that I couldn't imagine not doing it anymore. And plus, journaling for me was kind of boring. Writing songs, that really spoke to me. And so now I've been writing songs, and I put together my band. We put out an album. And I found out people liked what I was doing. We got nominated for some awards and stuff. And anyway, I signed a little agreement with an indie label out of Texas. We're recording a second album down there this year. And then I'm working on a second project with the guy that helped me record the first album we did up here in Portland, just up north of us here. But so moving forward, I met Joey and some other folks, and I've really been kind of trying to dive in and get involved in volunteering with organizations and raising awareness for really what I'll call the suicide epidemic that's going on right now with our veterans and even first responders and people that are really having that nervous system overload, the whole everything that goes along with that. Because speaking from experience, I've had three marriages, all ended in divorces. And now finally, I'm actually at a point in my life where I can have a good home life, good relationships, and things have really turned around for me. And it's all really in part to a lot of that therapy that I've been doing. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Well, let's pull one of your songs up. Which one would you like to start with tonight?
You know what? Let's start with Hard to See the Stars. That really kind of speaks to this whole situation.
Any lead into it?
I'll tell you. So Hard to See the Stars, I wrote it. I dedicated it to my dad. My dad served in Vietnam and came back, and the welcome that our Vietnam vets got coming back was not really that great. And he's also been diagnosed with PTSD, of course, way later, because I finally got him to the VA. And it's been a huge difference in his life as well as mine, just getting him to the VA and getting him to get some help on his own, because that also influenced my childhood and my life. And I realized it's not something he had control over, but it was something that needed to be addressed. So I dedicated this song to him. And this song is for all of those who have served and come back and who have either had family members that have taken their own lives or others that have hurt themselves or done this, So that's what the song's about. And that's why it's called Hard to See the Stars, because it's hard to see the stars when you've got this blinder on where you can't see anything good in the world.
This is Jeremy Wayne McKern. Hard to See the Stars.
There's a big house on a hill looking over all the land. There's a man who lives inside, says he couldn't give a damn. His kids have all left home, wife left him for another man. And he's missing Sergeant Johnny, his best friend since Vietnam. There's a pile of cards and letters on the table he hasn't opened, next to some bourbon and a bag of marijuana he's been smoking. His sister calls, tell him that she's worried. How's he coping? But it's hard to see the stars at night when your heart is broken. Johnny was so proud that day, they both headed overseas. They both knew war wasn't easy. Now the old man's on his knees. There's a big hole in his heart, thinks he might buck from the pain. 'Cause when a brother takes his life away, you realize that it's all the game. There's a pile of cards and letters on the table he hasn't opened, next to some bourbon and a bag of marijuana he's been smoking. His sister calls, tell him that she's worried. How's he coping? But it's hard to see the stars at night when your heart is broken. Try so hard, but you just can't keep from crying. Bow your head to pray, it's gonna be a better day. Oh yeah, bow your head to pray, it's gonna be a better day. There's a pile of cards and letters on the table he hasn't opened, next to some bourbon and a bag of marijuana he's been smoking. His sister calls, tell him that she's worried. How's he coping? But it's hard to see the stars at night when your heart is broken. Yeah, it's hard to see the stars at night when your heart is broken.
That is Jeremy Wayne McKern. Hard to see the stars. That is a full package song, brother. And I know that I know that there's some messaging in there, and there's some people that alcohol is a vice for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as this ice breaks here in Minnesota and I have my bonfire up, and I'm sitting right along the Mississippi, I'm going to sit back in my lounge chair, and I'm going to have my little highball of bourbon. I'm going to have my stogie, and I'm going to be plugging Jeremy Wayne McKern in and listen to, as I listen to my trumpeter swans hang around my little fortress that I have out here. That's for sure going to happen.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, that one. A little fun fact. We did that whole video on a serious budget. That is my mom and dad starring in that video, which was cool. Getting my dad, being the Vietnam vet, to have the starring role in that, since it was dedicated to him in the first place. So.
I love it. People, Mr. McKern is up on WP3 Radio now. It was weird before we were doing pre-show. His stuff started playing through. It was like, yes, perfect. This is great.
Yeah. Also that song I actually produced all on my own here at home. So when I first got started, I did a couple of my own songs just to prove to myself that I could. Now I'm getting more into the production side of things again now. But that one was just 100% me with my guitar, some splices, and a whole lot of time sitting and working on that myself. But that was only the second song I ever released. But that one was seriously very, very it's very personal. It's very personal to me, and I felt that more needs to be said about that. And I've written a bunch more songs since then that are kind of leaning into some more mental health, what's going on inside of my head from like the point of view of a veteran or a first responder, or somebody who's kind of dealing with those high stakes, high energy situations where there's a lot of risk involved. So
if you know a brother or sister that is sliding, we know either have the conversation with them, and if you're not strong enough to have that conversation with them, reach out, find an organization, find someone, get them the help and the supports that they need. It's essential. If you want to continue to have a relationship here on earth with our brothers and sisters, you need to. Derek Iozio with Catch 22 Peer Support would be a great option as well. And there are just a ton of resources out there. We are currently working with a team of people that we have muddied the water, folks. There are 86,000 organizations across America that says that they're helping veterans and first responders. 86,000. But our brothers and sisters, A, are not reaching out. B, they don't know where to reach out. C, when they do reach out, the organization is not available and or doing the things that they say that they're doing. And you've just created this smokescreen of confusion. We have to get these organizations A, out the book, or B, get them involved in the game and in the play. And so I will tell you right now, we are trying to fix that problem right now with a group of people working with us, and we're going to keep trudging forward. And again, everyone on this screen is welcome to be part of that process at any given time. You will have a constant invite to be here on the panel at any given time, all the time. And of course, we'll always want updates. Frank, the Myth, you ready to roll with your news tonight?
Yeah, but I want to ask if the music's available on CDs.
It is actually. Funny you should mention that. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but let's see.
There it is. It comes in and out.
Yeah, there it is.
I do have them available. They can be got on my website, or you can just reach out to me and I'm pretty much, I won't say I'm a one-man show. I have a lot of people helping me, but I manage everything. So just reach out to me. I'll help you out. You can order them off the website.
I'll send you a book. You send me a CD.
Deal.
Hold on, let me find this news thing because
Find this news thing.
I ain't got my news hat on today. My wife cleaned the room and I don't know where she put it.
Oh, it's her fault. It's her fault for cleaning.
Yeah, it is. Hold on. All right. First story we got. So there's been all kinds of stuff going on in the world with tariffs and things and countries getting mad at each other and doing stuff. Well, you know, the European Union finally decided that if they weren't going to have the opportunity to do upfront trade with one big country, they's going to find another one. So India and the European Union reached a free trade deal representing a third of global trade. Isn't that special? I think this is great. So they say that the agreement could affect as many as 2 billion people, billion with a B, after nearly 2 decades of negotiations. It's just kind of odd that, you know, it all came together now, but I guess there was more reason to make it work. It said that the EU's executive branch described the deal as the mother of all deals. It was huge. Yeah, I like those guys. And they said that it concentrated on almost all goods from India and vice versa in return. It also said in the article that the deals between the two world's biggest markets came as Washington targeted both the Asian powerhouse and the EU bloc with steep import tariffs. What a coincidence. But yeah, this is going to be a big thing. And if it continues and they can avoid some hurdles and other things that come up when big countries make big deals, then this is going to be a good thing for probably the whole world, but definitely for those two areas. So let's move on to our next one. It seems that in Belgrade, and I'm especially interested in this one because I was a diplomatic observer in Kosovo before the Kosovo War started up between Serbia and the United States. And thousands of people in Belgrade, which is the capital, rallied against crackdowns on student-led protests. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Well, that's what appears to be bringing down another country that's not too far from Serbia, actually, as the crow flies. So they are having an issue there, just like Iran had and is having with their young people and protests and things. And the protesters rallied outside the headquarters of the University of Belgrade on what was a National Day of Education. Nice choice. The peaceful gathering, there you go, was dubbed Knowledge is Power and was in support of scores of professors and teachers who had lost their jobs or positions for taking part in anti-government demonstrations. It just goes to show, you know, this country and other countries, the power is really with the people, and the people can make changes. And when they want to make changes, they can make it happen. It's just a matter of sticking to what they want and making sure their elected officials are representing them and not just trying to fatten their wallets. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is a head spinner. So we've known for years that Russia has had problems manning their forces that are in Ukraine, and they've done everything from emptying their prisons to practically taking people off the street and putting them in uniform and shipping them out. They're still having issues. So somebody in the recruiting arm of the Russian army decided that they should put ads in foreign papers advertising that they have jobs open for anybody who wants to be given the chance to expand their horizons. And so they sent stuff out to Bangladesh, and there were thousands who jumped at it because that's a very poor country, and they were offering big bonuses and everything. Well, it turns out that when they got to Russia, they were given their work outfit, and it was a uniform.
The old bait and switch.
And they loaded them all up, and guess where they went? Yep, into the hotbed. So with very little training, no idea what they were doing, they were out there trying to protect the country that basically had kidnapped them. Or what do they call that?
Conscripted?
The old Navy term when they used to whack someone over the head in Shanghai. Yeah. My dad was in the Navy during the Korean War, so I know all of that stuff. I joined the Army because he said he spent more time in the brig than he did on deck. And I didn't know what that meant, but I didn't sound good to me. All right, and our last story, which is can't believe this really happened. It's kind of on the weaker side this time, and I couldn't find anything that was more eye-catching than this. But scientists recovered the oldest wooden tools from a site in Greece, and they have pictures of this thing, and it looks like a stick. But they claim it was used to dig out dirt. Well, when I was a kid, I took a stick and dug out dirt too, but I don't think anybody's going to uncover it hundreds of thousands of years from now and say, "Oh, look, it's the oldest implement I ever found." And then the other one they had was looked like a rock. So it's like, I guess they paid a lot for this expedition, and all they found was a rock and a stick. But if you look closely on the picture of the stick, it looks like there's two letters on it, an H and an F. See, Harbor Freight's been around forever. All right. That's all the news I can bear for today.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can bear for a day either.
Hey, I wanted to ask our other guest too. He said he had 3 grandkids.
I know. Yeah.
You started having kids when you were 12?
20. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't too far off. My God. Good for you.
Thank you.
I got 2 that I know of.
We do have a surprise guest tonight. We hired an activist to come on. And I do want to, if you have not seen this activist out doing their activist activities, I'm sorry you've missed it, but I'm going to bring her on real quick. So.
Pay the wages to the pack, I'll tingle maker, into the fucking elections on nation, on the good, and the biscuit, with the biscuit fun. Be high, know you hot.
I am going to follow her wherever she goes. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, that might not be a good idea.
At a distance.
Simmer down, Frank. John Kelly.
Yes, sir.
What are you working on right now, brother? Do you want the world to know what you're?
Yeah, I'd love that. Well, I've worked with first responders individually for the last 10 months, and I've noticed that I make a great impact when I work on their families. So what I've been working on lately is building out a program that the husband and wife, doesn't matter which one's the first responder, can do together, because there's so much miscommunication, disconnection due to the high levels of stress that really everybody's dealing with. And I think you mentioned earlier about how important it is that we reach out, not just to the first responder, but also the families are affected by when the soldiers come home. My brother is a Marine, and he overdosed in 2020, and he left 2 young boys behind. He basically drank himself into a stupor, did some drugs that were laced with fentanyl, and overdosed. And the thing was, he went over to Afghanistan. He followed his orders, and what he did never sat well with his conscience, and nobody ever kind of reprogrammed him when he came back. So he was never the same person again. And just like you were saying, reach out, say, I love you, reach out. How are you doing? As my brother, he was slipping, and I was more of the brother, like, come on, get your shit together. I know you can do this, but he never really shared with anybody what he really experienced. It wasn't until afterwards that his wife told us everything that he shared with her. And that family is now fractured. So those 2 young boys, their early adulthood, are now lost without their father figure. And my goal now in this year is to work with more families and make my program a little bit more available to not just the first responder, but also the spouses too, because I've seen when both of them are supporting each other, much better results and much more connection reestablished. And then, of course, I'm also working on bringing what I've learned and what I teach into departments. So I have a good friend here in Miami who's a wellness chief, and he basically gave me the playbook. He said, if you want to work with a department, you have to have X, Y, and Z all in order, because, things need to be regulatory compliant. They need to make sure that your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. So I've been rebuilding the program so that it fits that framework, so that I can approach departments and integrate with departments. Because what I've seen is departments understand that there's a problem, but they don't have the bandwidth or the knowledge to properly address what's going on. And they're very reactive. What we got to start doing is become more proactive. And you also brought up a great point earlier about how, if I were to approach you and I were to say, hey, Mark, how you doing? Even if you were feeling crappy and you weren't feeling great, you tell me you're good, and that's part of the ethos of being a first responder. I can do this. I can handle it. A military veteran. I've seen worse. This is nothing. I think one of the things we need to do, and where I'm really focusing a lot of my messaging this year, is embracing being vulnerable, embracing the other side of being a man. It's not just about pushing hard all the time, because like throwing fire on a fire, you're not going to put a fire out that way. You're only going to make a worse fire. And we understand this logic when it comes to our jobs, but when it comes to ourselves, we treat ourselves like if we're a machine and we're never going to break. But when we realize that there's a different side that we need to embrace, a more relaxed, recovery focused side, where therapy is not something you do because you saw a child die. It's something you do from the beginning of your career so that you never get to the point to where you have mental illness. And taking that proactive approach of true strength, I call it true holistic strength, where you're capable of being this hero, this angel for 20 years and then still enjoying retirement. Because what's the use of doing this stuff if you're going to die 3 or 4 years into retirement? or you have PTSD so bad that you don't have good relationships. And I loved your song, Jeremy, because my dad's also a Marine, and he was also a Vietnam vet. And he is like your dad. You know, he's from that old school mindset that they worked their ass off their whole lives. They lost their relationships, and that affected me. That affected my sister. That trauma is generational. And so we need to start looking at things from generational viewpoints and understanding that we have a responsibility as soldiers. We have a responsibility as first responders to take care of ourselves more than a normal person would, because we can't live like normal people. We go through our lives doing things that normal people do because that's how we grew up, but we no longer have normal lives. We've seen things normal people don't see. The average person sees 4 traumatic incidents in their life. First responders see 4,000. Add in, most first responders have a military background. Now you have the perfect recipe for somebody to push things down and push things down until they manifest as heart disease, cancer, or mental illness. So my goal this year, to bring it all back, is to raise more awareness on what real strength looks like and help departments integrate a more proactive approach to wellness for first responders.
I love, and I don't do this out of disrespect. I'm not throwing you under the bus, but the conversation of bringing up and showing people the light needs to stop. We're done with that. We now need to be the tip of the spear. We have to go rushing in. We have to let everyone knows the data. Everyone can roll off 22 off their lips and say 6,000 veterans have unlived themselves since 9/11, a year. To bring the recognition, and this was kind of a theme of our show, and not an attack, Mr. Kelly, just I love get what you're saying, because we have to be that megaphone. We have to be that piece. We have to get our voices out. But this is the deal, brothers and sisters, everyone that's listening, everyone that's part of this, we have to share, and get this information out there. And you've got to put this in front of people so that they understand that they're not a statistic. They're a human being. They're not a number, and we don't want them to be a number. We want to build a relationship and be holy, your holistic approach in their lives, and walking with them to the next stage and phase of their life. Sorry, I'm getting aggressive, but we spend so much time placating that there's an issue. We don't have to tickle it anymore, people. It's there.
Yeah,
we're losing my brothers and sisters. Sorry, I'm.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, because I had that same kind of crash out this month on Facebook, because it was Cancer Awareness Month. I'm like, enough of the awareness already. We know how many first responders are getting cancer. Let's talk about prevention. Let's stop talking about people getting it and looking at only the exposures. There are so many other things that we can talk about, from the diet, right? There's data showing how to starve cancer cells. Nobody's talking about that. Or the environment of the body, the way that we think. You know, as Jeremy was referencing earlier, journaling is one of the tools I use with my guys, because it allows them to get the thoughts out of their brain and out of their bodies. And by downregulating your nervous system, you create a better biological environment for your body for sleep. And if you're sleeping better, your mitochondria work better, your melatonin levels are higher. Both of those are key in preventing cancer. So it's like, we just can't talk about exposures and how many people have it. We have to start talking about, this is what you have to do, sir. This is your responsibility, sir. When you sign up for this job, you also sign up to do XYZ every single day. And everybody knows about working out. Everybody knows about eating healthy, but that is not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I don't know if you caught that at the beginning of the show. To remember is not enough, folks. Andrea, the name of our show tonight is ampersand, asterisk, exclamation point, awareness. We have to get it done. We have to be the voice. We have to shout it from the mountaintop. We have to wear it on our sleeves. You know, it's cool when people wear the semicolon as a tattoo. It's not cool if it's under the beard here somewhere. It's a little tiny thing on their hand. I get it. How do we start that dynamic conversation in making it the everyday? Like so for how long, and again, not attacking any groups or anything, how long after 9 p.m. in the day you sit at home and listen to Sarah McLachlan sing In the Arms of an Angel and watch little bloody and muddy puppies and kitties every single day? And that is, I know everyone knows what I'm talking about because it is, we've always, why is that not commercial out there for veterans and first responders?
Great point. Yeah.
Why
Miami,
isn't there a database of resources that can show and lead our men and women? They're not broken, folks. And then I'm fully on my egg carton right now, and I will be. Sorry. And here we go. They're not broken. And you know what? When they reach out for support, they're in crisis at that moment. They're not, they're actually past crisis. They're at the last hope. I need help. I don't know where else to go. I'm going to reach out. Go ahead.
I think we need to make things more mandatory. So if you're a first responder, blood work is not enough. You should be saliva tested twice a year so you can get out ahead of hormone issues. We should also make, like when I was a firefighter, after a call, you would have a debrief. So sometimes you would go off of the radio and you would talk about the call you were in, and everybody would share what they did bad, what they did good. What we need to start doing is, instead of waiting for somebody to reach out and need therapy, in that moment, that crew needs to have 5 to 10 minutes post-call to downregulate their nervous system. If every single call has a 3 to 5 minute downregulation period afterwards, you're not going to have people stuck in fight or flight all day and night long. We also need to have different kinds of doctors looking at blood work, not just a PCP who's going to give you medicine when you're sick. We need to have it ahead of time. We also need to have like a structured way for guys to get therapy before they require therapy. So if we start putting these things ahead, there's also a great way to manage stress is by getting yourself a fitness wearable. I have the Aura Ring. A lot of my clients wear Whoop straps, and that will tell you every single day what your stress level is. If departments integrate certain technology that will say, hey, look, Jeremy had a rough night. He ran 5 calls after midnight. This is what he needs to do from morning to night, how much water he needs to drink, what supplements he needs to take, and what his workout needs to look like for the day. It could be 20 minutes of deep breathing exercises or an hour of yoga, because that's going to reverse the damage of the 5 calls. If he gets off a shift and he goes and does like a heavy workout, he's going to tear a bicep, or he's going to burn his nervous system deeper into a hole. So getting the departments to integrate holistic strategies within their framework of operations is really how you're going to move the needle. If you make these things just part of your standard operating procedures, in 5 to 10 years, guys aren't going to know that they weren't even part of the process. It's just going to be what they do. That's just going to be what we do. You brush your teeth every day. Why do you do that? Because it saves your teeth. If that's part of a non-negotiable strategy that first responders are subjected to, from the mind to the hormones to the supplements, and of course, funding, right? There needs to be funding around this. We just had a cancer awareness check cutting ceremony here in Miami for a department, Hialeah Fire Department, where they were given like $30,000 for more equipment to make sure that people don't use the same equipment all the time. But the day before, a guy had committed suicide. So one of the reporters was like, oh, what are we going to do about mental health? The CFO, who's the fire marshal, he's basically the CFO of the state, who's the fire marshal. He's like, well, since we're working on cutting property taxes statewide, local governments need to start allocating funds to first responders. So they're passing the buck, which we've seen happen time and time again in political realm. We need to have a federal amount of money, which I've seen this administration for a lot of things. They haven't done great. They have done a good job of taking care of their vets. We've also seen a state initiative in Florida, but there hasn't been money behind it, just a new law that's been passed. And then we need local government. There needs to be allocations of funds for these things, because at the end of the day, call volumes have risen, but pay has not risen according. So now you got these guys running twice as many calls. They're making the same amount of money. Inflation has gone through the roof since COVID. Now you're not only are you putting more pressure on them at work, now there's more pressure on them at home. And we wonder why we're losing guys earlier than ever, and there's not as many people signing up for the job. There has to be a revamped way to look at not only how we train these guys, but also how we pay them and how we take care of them. Just like when guys come out of the military, there needs to be a different revamp of how you integrate into society. If my brother would have been given the tools and the help that he needed, but he didn't ask for, he still might be here. So it's not about talking about it anymore. It's about making protocols, because we all know protocols work, right? If you want to get good at the guitar, every day you play the guitar. If you want to get good at sleeping, every day you need to be doing breathing exercises. And it might not be traditional in the sense of like working out and stuff like that, but it's effective. So that's my point. My way of looking at things is now we need to start integrating things at a administrative level, because if we just like throw it out there and hope people do it on their own, it's not going to happen.
Well, I have this conversation regularly about debriefing the youngsters that are coming out of the military, and the same thing. No one wants to sit in another brief. Everyone is tired. They're overworked. We have roughly 4.6 million first responders in the United States. That's police, fire, and EMS. There are over 600 million calls, folks. Do that math. Do that math. Okay, we're overworking, it's a societal thing. And again, we have roughly 10% of our country that straps it on for the 90% that are griping and complaining about what they're not getting. And that's a whole nother conversation. But how do we get the resources? And again, you have to. It's a leadership issue at this point, because we got old smoke up there. I didn't like those meetings either, so we're going to cut this short. And I can't tell you for how long, when I was a firefighter, how long, I think I went years without ever washing my turnout. And people are like, well, why is that an issue?
Yeah.
Because the carcinogens that I'm breathing in, absorbing, and doing all the pieces, that's bad. We should be washing those turnouts after every call. You should have 2 or 3 sets of turnout so that you can work through your job. And the tools aren't there. The resources aren't there. In the world of the volunteer firefighter, you're using personal resources to purchase your apparatus, your PPE, your training, sometimes the infrastructure. That's and you don't get paid. So, and that's actually what was the cause for the build of the People's Patriot Project, was my activity through the fire department saying we need to create this one-stop shop place for education, for recalibration, for, no one's reaching into my back pocket so I can go and sit, out in a grassy knoll and watch my kids go fishing kind of stuff. Right. Because you need to rebuild. You've been saying it the entire time. after a call, you have to go through some steps. Oh my gosh. You're triggering me, John Kelly. You're triggering me.
Good. It's good content.
Jeremy McCurry.
Yes, sir. And I was going to say, I really like everything you were talking about, John. I just want to catch in on this, but we do a lot of in the military. Every time we run an operation, we always have our after action reports, and we usually do a what we call it, basically a meeting immediately afterwards, to talk about what went well, what went wrong, what didn't go well. But like that big missing piece is everything that you're talking about, is the actual steps to help downregulate, because we never really did that. I spent 9.5 months, and we were boarding boats out in the Gulf, like out in Qasar, Iraq, and we were doing that sometimes 3 or 4 a day for long periods of time. And you just go out, you come back, you get a shower, a meal, you rack up, and then you're back out there doing it again the next day. And I think that people just don't really talk about and don't realize how much of a toll it takes, especially the people that are doing it don't realize kind of the toll that it takes on your psyche as well as your body. So yeah, thank you for talking about that. I just wanted to hit on that before we moved on.
On the military side of it, and we were dumb, literally dumb. I mean, you're up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock drinking your natty ices because you think you're young, dumb, and full of rum, which you probably are. I changed that last one up a little bit, but yeah. And then you go and do mission ready stuff the whole next day, and then you turn around and do it again. And you might take the 5-minute snoozer. I can't tell you how many times I went and wrapped my arm up around the differential or the drivetrain in any of the vehicles, because I'm working. I'm doing my PMCS on my vehicle right now, getting my Z's. But that's we're putting into mission 17, 18, 19, 25-year-olds, and it's the same thing in fire service. It's all the young bucks that are going out there. I mean, you get your smoke eaters that have been there around the block, but again, all the young ones are so effing annoying. You don't want to be around them, and because they're doing the stupid stuff you used to do. And now I'm too old and cool, so I can't train. I remember, and I was working in some training aspects, and I'm standing on top of a building with a guy that's got 40 years in as a fire department. And the young bucks are running around doing the cleanup, turnout, and all that. And one of the guys came up to him, and he's like, hey, he's like, well, I wish you'd have done that hose a little bit better over there. And he's like, I've never done, a double A. And he goes, well, you should have done it in your training. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, isn't this the time where you should take to actually train the young buck? He's literally telling you he doesn't know how to do it. And you are telling him to go figure it out on his own, but you're not happy with the end result, which now means A, it's got to be redone. Who knows how many times? B, it may not get redone, and it's going to sit there in the bin the way that they did it in the first place, and you're not mission ready. And again, all over the place. We're all over the
place. It is what it is. I mean, like that's the military for you, or the fire or police or
humanity. It's humanity.
You name the organization, and I'll show you where they're screwing up for sure.
You got to teach your craft. What is Mr. McKern working on now?
I'm working on a few things. One, I earlier this last year I did a fundraising project, and a crux of that fundraising project was for an album that I'm recording with Edgewater Music Group down there in Sugarland, Texas. So I submitted my first album to them. They said it sounded good. Let's work together. So we're working on a second one. And my basis for the second album, the title of the album, should I say what the title? Well, one of the tracks on the album, we'll see if the producer agrees with me on the title, but I want to call it One Step at a Time. And that track on there is it's really about being a military first responder and how that kind of affects your life. And then, of course, the hook of the song is One Step at a Time. But my fundraising project was really focused around, I want to do an album, and I want the focus of this album to be songs that are meant for healing, for PTSD, for anxiety, for depression, showing people that they're not alone, that there are others like them that are going through those same things. And I mean, from a music standpoint, really, what can I do? I can help to like raise money. I can raise awareness. So my focus here is to write songs that are going to help to not only raise awareness, but also I really want to be that one. I really love it when somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, like this song really touched me. Like this really like meant something. And that's really what keeps me going, is being able to connect with more people and make myself available. Like I'm still at a level where I can talk to every single person that reaches out to me. And so I'm going to do that for as long as I possibly can. And I've made a lot of good friends doing that, and connected with some amazing people. And it's always, I won't say it's fun, but it's very rewarding when I'm playing a show. Like I was playing this little show. I did a little mini tour in Texas after I released one of my singles, and I played Hard to See the Stars. And this lady was right up there in front, and like by the time we got into the second verse, she was like had tears, and that's what it's all about for me. It's that connection. It's that human connection. And, you know, the only way that we are going to get past a lot of these things that we're dealing with, it takes people reaching out and connecting with people. It's not something that can be done on a spreadsheet. It's not something where your commander or your president can look at metrics and say, you know, we need to put X number of widgets toward this problem to solve it. This is a human problem, and it takes a human solution, which means connecting with people where they're at.
I love
100% believe that statement, in the fact it's the personal relationship that is going to make a difference. We stand by it. It is having the conversation, being on a text thread. We do it with our board. We could do better, but it's reaching out, figuring out, and it's investing yourself in your time is what it is.
Yeah. So for me, like the music is a passion for me. The fact that I'm able to write and connect with other people that have served and that are doing things, and not just people that have served, but just the general population who is dealing with any number of these things. Like, I have a lot of compassion because it's something I've dealt with for such a long time. And I do know that when you find the right tools, it's such a game changer, and it can make your life go from one that you're not sure you want to live, which I've been there. I've checked myself, and I've taken myself to the ER before, once or twice. And you can get past it. You just have to have the right tools, and you have to have the right people to help you get there. So it requires some guidance, but that's I want to have the big music career, but I don't want to do it at the by sacrificing my morals or any of that. So I feel like this is something I need to do, is give back. I'm not a big artist, but I still, I want to give back to the community as much as possible. So
I love it. What's your next song you want to put up, bud? You
know what? So I think we're going to play two more, but coming off that, let's do We Don't Know Them All. That one's really, it's not super sad, but it's definitely very patriotic, and it's kind of my ode to everybody that served or is family, friends, service members. If you have somebody in your family that served and you're proud of that, this song's for you.
This is Mr. Jeremy Wayne McKern. We don't know them all.
Jenny grew up in a small town in the hills of Idaho. Her blood ran red, white and blue. She felt the call to go. See the roots run deep in her family. Grandpa fought in World War II. Her daddy served in the jungle. Somehow she knew she'd serve too. So she went down to the recruiter and she raised her right hand. Took the oath of service, stand up for our homeland. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. Put their lives in jeopardy when they took the call. They're the best of us, standing up for us, fighting for our freedom without prejudice. Bobby grew up in the city, way down in New Orleans. He saw the towers fall on TV, terror gripping every scene. The first to serve in his family, but he knew he had to fight so his kids could grow up happy and sleep safely every night. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. They put their lives in jeopardy when they took the call. They're the best of us, standing up for us, fighting for our freedom without prejudice. My daddy served in the Navy, overseas in Vietnam. So when I was old enough, I raised my right hand. So I salute the men and women who have served by my side. The flag still stands for freedom, we gotta keep it alive. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. They put their lives in jeopardy when they took the call. They're the best of us, standing up for us, fighting for our freedom without prejudice. God bless the families that give so much to see. The loved ones fighting far away for whatever it is. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. We don't know them all, but we owe them all.
That is Mr. Jeremy Wayne McKern. We don't know them all. Oh, I can get used to that stuff, brother. I can get used to that.
Thanks, I appreciate that. It's
Mr. Kelly, sorry to interrupt, Jeremy. We're on a time crunch here. It is 19:30. We lie to everyone and say we do an hour show, and it always trickles into a 2-hour show. And so it doesn't seem like it takes. I mean, there's so much amazing content here, but we want to be respectful of your time and thank you for being here. Do you have any closing thoughts before you go?
I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, to all of you for taking the time to put this together. It's not easy to put together a radio show every single week. You're on episode 290 and you guys are doing God's work. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I wanted to support Jeremy in his continued mission to help veterans and first responders with his music and also his message, because I feel like that's something that all of us can learn from, and how we can take our pain and transmute it into something beautiful, such as music or poetry, or just getting it out on the paper and not thinking that you're alone. You're not alone. A lot of us have been through this. We're here to help each other, and asking for help is not weakness. It is strength. And once we can unite around that concept of true strength, being holistic and knowing that we're all in this together, I feel like we're going to go really far. So I just want to say thanks to everybody for having me on, And Frank, thank you for the news. I didn't know any of that stuff today, but now I'm a little sharper.
Take
We
care,
appreciate
brother.
you,
God
Mr.
bless
Kelly.
you.
Thank you for being on.
Anytime,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take it easy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then there were 4.
Then there was 4.
We're going to get Mr. Kelly on again just so we can finish up all the conversations. And again, we've got to do it. If we're not engaged, then we're not going to save them. That's the reality. And so,
That's a fact.
what told us what you're working on. You've pretty much have covered the last question, but we will give it to you again.
I can go deeper.
No, what do you want to get done? You've already shared what you want to get done, but let's say it again. Let's go through that content. What do you want to get done with your craft?
Ultimately, if I had my way with my craft, I'd be able to do this full time and really focus on that. So, right now I retired from the reserves back in 21. I did, the first 9+ years of active duty. And so I have the retirement coming to me at some point, and I'm on disability, but I still have like a day job. I work in the mining industry. And so I travel around and I help a bunch of miners keep their operations safe. So it's always kind of in that vein. But what I would really like to do is gain enough followers that I can do this full time so that I can reach more people with my music. And I would also at the same point, I don't see myself ever not being involved with organizations like yours, like the PVA, who I volunteer with, Paralyzed Veterans of America. I'm a volunteer, and then like things like we talked about Joey the other day. So Joey James, my buddy, I met him probably about 2 years ago now, and we met online, and I was trying to help out with some find things to do, and he said, I'm going to put on this Salute to Veterans show. I'm like, I work in sales. Let me help you. Let me help you find sponsorships and stuff. So, we worked. I helped him with that. It was still his thing, but I want to be able to work full time in music so that I can focus on doing all these other special projects as well. And I'm still going to do those anyways because that's just how I'm built. But it sure would be nice to be able to not worry about the day job and be able to just focus full time. And I'm working hard at that. And I think we'll get there one of these days, but you never know how long that's going to take. I only started this whole musical journey in 2021. Here we are 5 years later, and I've got an album out, and we're getting ready to put another one out. So I can't complain. It's going well.
Well, if you keep on putting that type of music out, you'll be able to do this full time in no time.
Well, but we talk about mental health. You got to remember, I have this negative Nancy inside of my head saying, you're not really good enough to do this, and then I have to tell myself, yes, you are.
Let me tell you something. Never in my life did I think that I would write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me one of those experiences where you're on the edge of the hole, looking down.
Yeah.
And then you finally pull yourself up. And once I got to that point, I had my focus back. And I just sat down one day and started writing. Never, ever would have thought. And it's just, sometimes I was never a very religious person.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me there's not a higher being, there's not a God, because that's the only way I've gotten where I'm at. And it's the same with you.
Yeah, it definitely is.
The stories you tell that you've told so far are almost identical to what I went through, except I only had 2 strikes, and then I found number 3, and that's the one I should have been with my entire life. But
well, I'm madly in love with my current girl. I won't share much about her because she likes to keep her life private. But yeah,
No.
I really meant everything I told John. There is like there's life after all that crap if you can figure out how to manage yourself. And you talk about writing and stuff, and I feel like as an artist, this is something that doesn't just go for people who have had trauma and stuff, but like there's a big thing in the artist community. We talk about comparison. We'll drain you of any joy if you start trying to compare yourself to others. You have to focus on, this is my art, and be as authentic as you can. And that's been one of the hardest things I think for a lot of people to learn, is how to just lean into, I'm not trying to be like everybody else. I'm trying to tell my story the way that I want to. And I never thought about writing or creating, because I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory. So when I was growing up, my dad was Navy, and he was very hardcore, very strict, very much like a drill instructor at home. And so I spent a lot of my life trying to figure out how I could please this man, because he had very, very high standards. And I burnt myself out a little bit in school early on. And then, but I realized I had some talent that I never went after, because my dad said, like, go military, be an engineer, like this is how you make money. So I went military. I got an engineering degree in electrical engineering, and that's what I do now still. But they've always had that creative bug out there. Like, I used to draw, I used to write. I got sent to a big writing camp when I was in like 3rd grade, and I got pulled out and put into this like talented and gifted program, because I was a little bit like, one of those weirdos that like gets things quickly, and I was writing, and my teachers had seen that, but I never went that way. And then when I retired back in 2021, and now my dad's in his 70s, and I'm older now, and I'm like, you know what? I've done the engineering thing. I've done all this. This is for me. And also it was necessary, because I needed to figure out my life, and I needed to figure out how to get control over my internal thoughts, because they were wrecking me. And the songwriting and performing was massive for me. It's like I'll tell people now, like when you see me on stage, that is my therapy session. I'm working it out right there in front of you. That's why one of the biggest things I've been told is that people can feel the emotion when I sing, when I sing the songs. It's because I'm fully connected with them. They're the real deal, And I feel like I'm now writing some of my best stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with this album, but I've learned so much more now, and I've moved more and more into like real deep thoughts and authenticity, where it's going a little bit further than this was, more surface level, and the new songs are going much deeper. So this is my passion now. Music and really connecting with veterans. I was fortunate enough in this last year, because of this project, to connect with a guy here in town, Don McPherson. He's a local mortgage broker, and he served on the ship about a year before I did, the same ship that I did. So we have that connection. Now we've become really good friends, and I've become friends with Joey, and between the music and the military, started building up a pretty good community of people that cross both of those, that are military.
If you're looking for an idea on a song, and I think I can only pitch this to a Navy guy.
Yeah.
Well, because my dad was in the Navy during the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
And Navy people develop a connection with the vessels they're on.
Yep.
And my dad's aircraft carrier, after the Vietnam War, it was sold to Spain, and then it was brought back to the United States. They were supposed to make a floating museum out of it down in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't come up with the money, and they just had to scuttle it, and then it broke his heart. He always wanted to go down there and see that. But
I feel that heavily because I served on the USS Valley Forge CG-50 out of San Diego, and I joined the ship in 2000, and I was on board till I think it was 2004, 2005, and did 3 tours on board that ship, and they were decommissioning it when I got off of the ship, and I thought it was going to go and become part of a museum, but it is now part of a barrier reef off of Hawaii. So,
my dad was on the Cabot.
Okay.
It was like a late World War I type carrier that they improvised and made better with the structure in World War II. And then once World War II was done, it really was not something that could be upgraded anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing. The CG-50 was one of the first 5 Ticonderoga class cruisers, and so they were the first 5 to be decommissioned because they did not have the vertical launch system, so we couldn't carry any of the cruise missiles. Sorry, anyway, I don't know why I'm brain farting on that, but we had what's called the SM2, the rocket launcher, the big arms go straight, the missiles come up, and then they cock and shoot. We had like an 80 mile air to surface range or surface to air range, and I think it's been ttoo long. But anyway, they decommissioned the first 5 because they just decommissioned the beta version, the first 5, and then went with all the ones that still had the VLS on them, the vertical launch system. So, but yeah, I had a lot of memories on that ship, and I'll never be able to visit it again, but I still got the pictures. And I still have a lot of friends that I still talk to.
Yep. Never heard anything like that. I just thought,
Yeah.
Planting seeds. Are you sure you should be drinking that, Frank?
No.
Okay. Jeremy, let's get this launch without me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll leave you with the one song that's not. Well, I sent you a bunch of songs. I just focused on the military ones to start, but this one is my most streamed track by far, and this one's definitely got a different vibe. It's more of that kind of late 90s, early 2000s kind of country, but this, the funny story behind this song, I'm a big fan of Sturgill Simpson, and Sturgill Simpson wrote this song called You Can Have the Crown. And so Sturgill wrote the song, and it was like the most cliche country lyrics he could come up with. So I took that idea and I wrote this song, and it's like the most cliche country drinking song that I could think of lyrically. And so I'll just leave you with that, and we'll go ahead and listen.
All right. This is Jeremy Wayne McKern, Honky Tonk Bound.
My pickup truck, my buddies riding shotgun, and we're all dressed up. I can't wait to walk through them doors. It's what keeps me sane. Neon lights and the sound of an old 6-string. Yeah, we honky tonk bound, and we're feeling alright. Girls are wearing crop tops and them jeans that fit so tight. Soon we'll all be dancing to the rhythm of a 3-piece band. Yeah, we love that sound, and we're honky tonk bound. no doubt about it. I'm a honky-tonk man. It's like a second home. I get there as fast as I can. In these hallowed halls of music, you never feel alone. It's the way of life. It's in my soul. And we're honky-tonk bound, and we're feeling alright. Boys are shooting whiskey, smoking Marlboro Lights. Soon we'll all be dancing to the rhythm of a three-piece band. Yeah, we love that sound. And we're honky-tonk bound. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, work never ends. And come Friday around 5 o'clock, we'll do it again. Yeah, we're honky-tonk bound, and we're feeling alright. Girls are wearing crop tops, and them jeans that fit so tight. Soon we'll all be dancing to the rhythm of a three-piece band. Yeah, we love that sound. And we're honky-tonk bound. Oh, honky-tonk bound. Well, come on, let's go.
That is Jeremy Wayne McKern with Honky Tonk Bound.
It always makes me smile.
It does. Well, there's a reason. It could get you moving, and it's the real. And it's not a comparison, but I mean, we have another artist in our channel that you resemble him to me a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Different styles, but just the look. Every time I looked up, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Scotty Hastings, and an older version because he's a young buck.
Yeah,
but he's out there doing his stuff and doing his thing. And another veteran in Nashville, booming. Well, we've been through all the questions.
Yeah,
I had earlier, I was trying to get it to roll. It was rolling, but it wasn't working sound wise because you have one of my favorite songs that you cover.
Oh, I hope you'll listen to that one for sure.
Well, I'm gonna put it in the background. Love the song "Simple Man." You could argue that it's one of the ones that kind of launched EP3 with Tony Turner did a version, and but I'm hearing it now. It'll play through our final thoughts. We're at that point where we need to kind of shut the show down. We got so much stuff and real conversation, dynamic. There's a call to action in this episode, and it's like we need to, as we always say, be better. We need to do better. We need to do more. To remember is not enough. I guess that would be kind of my final thoughts, but I'm going to always let Frank start it off, and we'll just do clockwise on this as well.
Well,
my hearing, that one of the things I got from the Navy was my hearing. So I'm trying to. I'm not sure.
We'll fix that problem. We'll just get rid of it. So if it's too much,
No, it was fine. I was just having a hard time picking out your words over the top of it.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I that's the one song that me and my band decided to put on the album as a cover because we incorporated that cover early on. And the way that we did it, every time we started playing it, every single venue that we played at, we started playing that song and everybody would stop and actually pay attention to us. So that was one of the songs that we'd use. And I'm a big fan of Leonard Skinner. And of course, that song has always been one that's always stuck out to me that I really like playing it. I connect with it well. So Simple Man is definitely my jam when it comes to Leonard Skinner, you know.
We'll close out with it tonight.
Sure.
Frank, final thoughts, brother.
All right. This kind of ties into the show and a comment that I had today from one of the fans of my books. And it kind of caught me off guard a little bit because I've only been writing books for 3 years. And I've received so many accolades and awards. Sometimes it's kind of like you just want to slap yourself to wake up because it can't be real. But today was kind of the ultimate. And this person referred to me as an American Idol. And it's like, where and how did you come up with that? And, you know, it's really interesting when people really get what you're trying to relay to them, either in music or writing or whatever. And this gentleman just really understood the points I was trying to make in my books. And it was a powerful thing. And I'll go back to what I said earlier to Jeremy. The power that we have in our mind to produce things that invokes thoughts and feelings in others is something that is just a gift. And I never knew I had this gift. And now that I have it, I plan on continuing it for as long as God allows me. And who knows? Somebody asked me how many books I was going to write. I don't know. I know how many I want to write currently, and it's going to be another 4 or 5. But after that, I'll find something else to write about. And you just wake up sometimes and you realize how blessed you are and the gifts that you never knew you had. And I consider myself reborn at 65. And it's odd because, you know, when I was 25, I didn't think I'd be around. At 65, that was all the old people. Nobody lived past their 60s. Mm-hmm. And now I think 80 is young. But that's all I got. I love being here, and God bless you all.
Miss Eichmann.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you for your music. My goodness. And I'm looking forward to the Simple Man. And Peterson, I thought you were going to say JT because he has the look of JT as well. And then you played Simple Man, and I'm like, whoo. JT was supposed to sing that for my son's mother-son dance. Since he's not a cowboy, and I wouldn't let him do Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys.
I cover that one sometimes too.
Like Isaac, you're not a cowboy, and I don't think you will be. So we'll find something different. But anyway, it's okay. It's a good wish. But I was just thinking about that, and both you and John said this earlier tonight, that having a service heart, having a service mentality, a server personality, it's all very endearing to me because I that's why I'm here. That's what brings me to support and to do all that I can to be here for others. And I don't know why, I've just always had a very, I've been very attached to people that serve communities. I mean, firefighters, military, all of it. I didn't do it, and there's a part of me that wishes I did. And so I appreciate that, but that's why I then try to, and I do think I have a service mentality. I just always have, and it just it really brings out like the element of being active, and then the desire to be out there helping others. And it's through your music, but it's also through your words, and it's also, I can see in your actions, and John obviously too, is just out there wanting to help as many others. And I love how you guys personalize it. He put his brother out there, and you have sharing your story, and family and friends too. And we say this all the time, you can only do your best for others if you're taking care of yourself as well. And then listening to both of you share facing demons and admitting weaknesses, and to John, don't wait till you hit the very bottom, because it's easier if you don't get all the way down there to get back up. It's just been an amazing learning night for me as well. I think I did way more listening and typing and taking notes than I did participating, because I was taking it all in. So thank you very much. And I want to tell you, Jeremy, please be confident in your talent, not just your willingness to give and share and serve people, but your talent is great. And it's not just your music, but it's the personal touch that goes with your music. Together, I haven't gone on Spotify yet. I need to go find your music, and I'm going to put it all so I don't have to wait for it on WeP3 Radio.
Or you can get a CD.
I do have a few of those left too. But I plan to order some more too. So
yeah, that I don't have to wait. Like, when you get in a zone, you want to keep it rolling. So
yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. The personal touch, the personable reach, really, it just works that way. I don't know. It just is. Here we are, here you are, and it works. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy, your turn for final thoughts.
All right. So my final thoughts. Well, first off, I want to thank all of you, but especially Mark. Thank you for reaching out, getting in contact with me. We had like an hour conversation the first night that I was able to actually get contacted, because I know I was kind of a pain. But gosh, it's really awesome seeing what you guys are doing, what your mission, and thank you for all the kind words, Frank. You don't know if you're going to be a writer till you start doing it, and I say same boat. I've been told now that they're like, you should really focus on songwriting. You really do. I'm like, I guess I had a talent I didn't know I had, and like you were saying, Frank, you really have to believe that there is God or a higher power, because these things, sometimes I'll sit down and start writing, and a half hour later I've got a full-blown song, and it's like I don't know where it came from. It's just there, and it comes to you. So thank you for pointing that out. Definitely keep writing until the day you're no longer with us. I wouldn't see any reason to ever stop. Andrea, thank you so much, Mark. And last thing for me is I just want to give a shout out to all my friends, family, and my fans that are out there watching. And thank you for everything that you guys are doing, and definitely keep me in the loop. I want to stay abreast of everything you guys are doing to see if I can get plugged in to help with more, and do another one of these in the future with some new music, because I'm working on a bunch right now. So
whenever you got the music, let us know, brother. We'll have zero problem putting it out there. So
thank you.
So tonight's show is always, every time we come here on Sunday nights, it's about our guests. It's our mission. It's to share, to be the beacon, to show people that there are people out there doing the work. That's what we constantly are doing. We've stumbled on it for a long time about the awareness. We've been aware for a very long, long time. It's here. It's there. It is taking over the the minds of the men and women. And I just like the conversation about mindset tonight as well. It's be a driving force, have the confidence, know, and you're doing something. We're all doing something that no one else can do. One of my favorite little quotes that I stumbled on in life is everyone has a superpower, and that superpower is you're you. Everyone's got a skill set, something that is beneficial for someone. I tell my students that everyone in the classroom has the opportunity to be a teacher because everyone's got something to teach. With that said, everyone's got something to learn. I am blessed every single weekend by the mission work of the People's Patriot Project and what others are doing. And we are going to be the constant megaphone of letting people know what we're doing. I have ran into the face of adversity and conflict over this weekend in a number of areas. And it's frustrating, but I don't think it's any more or any less than anyone else has to deal with. The one thing I would say in all aspects and areas of life is just because you say it or just because you heard it doesn't make it right. And it's really, we're in that time and place in our lives where you need to make sure you are fact checking absolutely everything that comes across your plate. And it's tough to find those resources that are giving you accurate and all the information. But it's our job, it's our diligence to make sure that we don't get sucked in. I think it was last week, I saw a post. My bad. I normally don't bring a whole lot of this stuff up, but we were talking about it on our debrief, and I saw that I think it was Sam Darnold. He's playing next weekend, which will bring another conversation. There was Adam Burrows. I saw that Adam Burrows was going to Minnesota, and I was like, we might be onto something. I got duped. It wasn't even April Fool's. I don't know why or how or when or who did it or why. Shame on you. Shame on you, and shame on me for passing that information on. We did the fact after the fact, and it is what it is. But there's a lot more changing lives, and to be honest with you, there's people losing their lives because of some of the things that may not be fully accurate. And no one should be losing their lives over silly stuff. I'm calling it silly, but this is serious stuff, folks. This is serious stuff. Next week, we're up for a challenge, man. We are on episode 290. We have not missed a Sunday. We have gone head-to-head with the big old Super Bowl before, and we've had guests. And oddly enough, both of our guests have canceled for this next coming weekend. And even during the show, I was soliciting other guests as well. So maybe I could have an announcement because we'd like to announce that we have guests for the next week. It might be a shoot your poo show, and we do those every once in a while when our guests have to cancel and we can't fill the spot. So Mark Peterson will be here, even though we'll be 30 minutes into the big show. And that's okay. We can do some briefs and we can have, but the reason why we will be here is because someone out there needs us, and someone needs to know that there is an opportunity for help, support, and that the beacon always shines. So we will be here no matter what. I don't know if the rest of my team is going to, we will be rooting on one of the former Minnesota Viking quarterbacks for sure, right? Who you got for the game, Jeremy?
I'll be rooting on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't.
They're the only team I got left in the game still. So
sure.
Probably the Seahawks, but probably because you know why.
Yeah. Frank, you got anyone that you want to?
I still stand beside what I said last week about tail whooping, so I'll have to stay with the Seahawks too.
The Bears can't be in that.
I thought you were going to say the Bears.
Well, I don't think they would show up. Just like they do in all the other years, they don't show
Whoops.
up.
Well, I want to thank our guests, Jeremy and Mr. Kelly, for being on tonight. We wish you the best. We will do a little collaboration after we run the credits, so to speak, here. Like I said, we don't have a guest next week. Tomorrow at 16:30, the People's Patriot Project comes back so we can share our debrief. What are we doing? What are we working on? And we're in a restructure, rebuild, kind of building some cool, super amazing things right now. And we're doing veteran asks, and that's what we're doing for the moment. I'm going to run. We're going to put the screen on. Make sure you check your 6. Go get a hold of your peeps, and we will put a little Simple Man on and let you hear a little bit of that as we close.
Come sit beside me, my only son. Listen closely what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you